So I met Mitch in high school, grade 10. I was doing parkour with our friend. This friend was like, yo, Mitch knows how to flip too. Like, you should come. And then we met up at the park. And when I first met him, I was like, yo, this guy's sketchy as hell. Because he would do backflips off of this, like, storage cement block room.
You always bring that one up.
Yeah, because he always would. And he'd go from one cement block to the other. But there was, like, a foot gap. And I was like, how are you doing backflips off this? I swear one time you did a backflip, landed short, and you almost hit.
Yeah, I remember like falling into the other metal, concrete piece. Yeah, that was chill though.
Yeah, forever been sketch.
That's good. And then after that, after grade 10, we didn't talk much. And then that same friend was like, mentioned that we're both going to the same university. And then we decided to room together. Yeah. And then we roomed together for the first year.
We were going in for the same degree, which is kinesiology. And we had the same average, 87.5. Do you remember that?
Yeah. That's crazy.
And I was like, yo, this was meant to be.
So we got the same res?
Yeah. Same. Well, yeah, we applied together.
We hung out all the time. We went to cheer practice.
This guy would keep me up at night. Like, I was
and
going to bed.
Up early.
No, here's the thing. Because I go to sleep at whatever time, but I fall asleep really fast.
Just so like that. He falls asleep so fast. Yeah,
we'll get to stories about that in another time. But I would be laying there in the dorm, and I'd be like, okay, dude, night. Like, I gotta go to bed. And then, like, a minute later, no, not even that. A minute later, I'll hear, hey, Marc. I'm like, what? He's like, hey. I was like, what the fuck are you keeping me up for?
Marc, you going to bed yet?
Yeah, no, you would say that. You'd be like, are you going to bed yet? You asleep yet?
You fall asleep?
Obviously not, you fucking guy.
But there's situations where you fall asleep so damn fast. Tell them about the situation on the trip across Canada you took.
Okay, so, background, me and my 3 friends, 4 of us took a road trip across Canada. We started in Toronto, went to Northern Ontario, across Manitoba, Saskatchewan, stayed in Alberta for a few days, and then Vancouver for a few days. And then we hit up like Portland, Oregon, Seattle, down the West Coast, hit up LA for a few days, Vegas for a few days, and then drove from Vegas back to Toronto. And it was really cool because through university, we met these friends that lived in Calgary and in Vancouver. So we stayed with them and like we like not rekindled, but we were like hanging out again because we had all graduated. That was our graduating trip. Anyways, so we're in Calgary at our friend's place and the 4 of us are in her basement in this one room. We're all like in sleeping bags and beds and stuff. And it's just known that I fall asleep really fast and just anywhere all the time.
So fast.
So we're all laying there and then we turn off the lights and we're like, okay, guys, night, whatever. And all like a minute later, I start snoring and they'll start laughing. And I woke up. I was like, oh, shoot. Yo, well, what's going on? You guys are good? And they're like, yeah, we're just laughing because you fell asleep. And I was like, oh, that's jokes. Literally right after. I don't know. I just like my whole family's like that. My grandma, she would fall asleep watching TV. Like she would be perched up on like the ledge of the couch and just like watching.
That's a
and
grandma
just
for you though.
Drop like just the neck would drop. Everything else is still on.
Do you fall asleep during the day? Like, are you tired?
Well, so you know what? High school was like normal. I would nap after if I did.
Yeah.
University, hella tired all the time. In lecture, like in the library. I fell asleep like in a lab once.
I have a whole photo album of just Marc's falling asleep photos because he'd fall asleep anytime we did anything. We'd fall asleep on the way to cheer practice. He'd fall asleep in the library. Yeah, like have all these photos.
There was one time I would get
like up close of his face, just like from the weirdest angle of him just like sleep.
There was one time, where was it? We were getting up for class. Like it was like what, like 7:30 a.m. And I get up early. I'm like, I'm up. I'm already awake. I just get more awake. I don't get tired generally. So I got ready, came back to the room. I was like ready to go to class. My boots were on, my jacket was on. Mitch is still in bed. I was like, fuck, man, I just gotta wait for this dude. I was early, so I was like, cool. I can sit on the bed for like 5-10 minutes while he brushes his teeth and shit. I sit down on the bed and I fell asleep.
His boots on, his coat on. He's falling asleep with his hands locked in his thing, with a hat on and his hood over his head, this winter jacket on. Falling asleep in bed. I come back and I was like, we going to class now?
You know what's funny? So I wasn't sure I was gonna bring this up. Super random. Sometimes I snore before I'm asleep. So like I'll be lying. Sometimes I'll give you examples. So I'll be lying in bed. I took a nap before I came here, and before I was asleep, I was still awake. I was like, when am I gonna fall asleep? Hopefully in the next 10 seconds.
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
And it's like. And I'm like, oh, I'm.
Yeah, you wake yourself up.
No, but I'm not even asleep.
I know, but you're about to, and you start waking yourself up.
Yeah,
Like,
and I'm like,
who's snoring?
Why am I snoring? I'm still awake. So I stop it, and I'm like, and then 10 seconds later, I'm like, why am I doing that?
Because you do that. Yeah, this guy doesn't think he snores. He snores all the time. Every time you sleep anywhere, it's just snoring.
You know why? Because I wake up and my mouth is sealed shut. And you know when your tongue is like suction cupped in your mouth, and then
the
you
roof?
you stick out your tongue, and it has like the indents of your teeth. That happens all the time, I think. So then when I would get up,
so hard.
I don't know. I'm just clenching so hard maybe because I don't want to sleep with my mouth open because spiders are gonna crawl in it.
Wow. He does this thing where when he starts falling asleep, he goes like. So we're at the cottage like 2 weeks ago, and then we're all like getting ready for bed and shit. And once again, I'm a little bit later than everybody else, so I'm like getting ready for bed, and I come into the room, and all I hear is. And I'm like, okay, like I guess we're all going to bed now. He's like, yeah, let's go to bed. And I was like, you were asleep. And he's like, no. And I was like, yeah, you were, bro. Like you're fully asleep right there.
You know what's funny? That same cottage trip, the other night, it was like the same situation. He was the last to get into the room. It was like me, our friend JJ, and then him. And the lights were off, but he turned them back on to get in because he was last. And I woke up. I was like, oh shoot, nice. We're all gonna hang out now. Turns off the light, immediately fell back
so
asleep.
fast. Yeah. Just, and then me and JJ are just like, wow. Came and hang out.
Yeah, no.